Hello everyone, in this video I will be demonstrating how to solve the quiz. So the first thing to do is to open 3ds Max, and when you open it, always don't forget to save it. So you'll go to File, Save or Save As, and then name it with the name that is requested from you. So for now I'll keep it as quiz 1 and save it. So after you do this, you will make sure that 3ds Max started to work on your AutoBack files. You will already do this setting before, so it's not part of the quiz, it's not part of the steps required from you, but you should always make sure that it's on. So I'll just go to Preference Settings, Files, and then make sure that your AutoBack is enabled and it's set to, for example, every 15 minutes. Okay, click on OK, and now we can start working. So you can see that it says set the unit to centimeters. So I'll go to 3ds Max, customize unit setup, change the metric here to centimeters, and then make sure that your system setup as well is changed. Also, one more thing I've told you to do every time you open your 3ds Max, to make sure that angle snap is on, just in case you had any rotation, you can easily go back to the original status. The next thing I will do, I will select one of the viewports, click on Alt and W, or come here to maximize your viewport toggle. So I have one that I can work with. Then it says set the grid and your 3ds Max to be 10 centimeters. So to do this, I will right click on Snap and then go to Home Grid and change the grid spacing to 10 centimeters. Since we are going to work with the grid, I'll go to Snaps, make sure that I only have grid points on. I will close all the others so I can draw on my grid. Close it, and then let's go to the next step. Use the line shape to draw the legs of the table by snapping to the grid when needed to create in the same dimensions as the image. So the dimensions are not written here, but because we've already told you that each square equals 10 centimeter here, so you will be calculating these. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3, and then 8, and then again 7. Okay, so 5, 3, 8, 7. Let's do this. I'll start with with shapes. Select line. Make sure that your snap tool is on because we are in the top of view. Start with a line. Okay, so from here I'll take 5, 3, and then I have 8, and then I have 7. And then I'll go back, and then I will repeat the same steps again. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Go back to here, and then take 3, and then go down to 5. Okay, right click to close the line. Always make sure that you're drawing in one line, just in case you had an issue. So for example, you started with a line, okay, and let's say I've started with this part, and then when I reached here, for example, it broke. Okay, so now I will continue drawing the line normally as you do, but then we have to merge them together. Okay, so here I'm not following the dimensions, just I'm drawing, and then again I stopped for some reason. I had an issue, I pressed on escape, I changed my view to the PDF to see the shape. So sometimes you'll have this issue. Okay, so when you are done, you will take one of the lines. Now I'm done drawing, so I will close my snap by pressing S on my keyboard, and then I will select one of the shapes, go to Modify, and then go to Attach, and attach the other shapes. This is just in case you couldn't draw it in one continuous line. But here, after you do this, you will have an issue because these are 3 separate SP lines. Okay, you have to go to Vertex and make sure that all the vertices are welded. All the corners are one vertex only. Okay, you cannot have 2 vertices. So if I go here and just move this one, you will see that there are 2. Okay, so I have to go to each corner and weld them all. So I will just select them here like this, and then I will go down and click on Weld. Now if I go to SP line, which is 3 on your keyboard, and select the line, you will see that it's all one continuous line. Now if you're done, you can continue with the next step. Okay, so this step is not mentioned in your quiz, but you're supposed to know how to do it in case you had this issue. Now I will continue working on this line. So after that, you need to add 15 centimeter radius to all the corners. Okay, so I will select the line, click 1 on my keyboard to go to vertex, and then select all the vertices, Alt to remove the selection for these two. You don't have to do this, but just in case, I will just select all the corners. Okay, and then you will go to fillet. You don't have to click anything, just type 15 and then enter. That's it. You don't have to click on fillet, you don't have to come to the radius, nothing. Just 15, enter, and it will fillet all the selected vertices. If you did not select the vertices, it will not work, obviously. And also, if you selected some of them, the others, to do the rest, you'll have to select the others and then go back, type 15 and enter. Okay, so just keep this in mind. For the next step, you will see that you need to create a normal copy of the line created in step 4 and add a space of 40 centimeters between it and the original line. So I have this line, and then I need to create a copy for it and move it up 40 centimeters. Okay, so you can do this in two ways. The first one is end line itself. I'll go to the front view, select 3 on my keyboard to switch to SP line. Okay, I'll just keep this open so you can see those. Select this, open snap 2 or 2.5, and shift copy this after 4 squares. So this is 40 centimeters. Okay, so in this case, you will have one object. Inside this object, you have 2 lines. Okay, so this is the first method that you can do. Let me just go to the top view. I will create a copy from this one, and I'll show you the second method. Okay, so in this method, I'll go to, you'll see that I have one line. So in this method, I will close the line. Okay, so I have this object. Control V to create a copy in the same place. Make sure it's a copy or instance, that's up to you. Then I have 2 copies over each other. Okay, so I will go to right click here on select and move. In the Z axis, I will type 40. So now I moved it up 40 centimeters. Okay, so in this case, I have one object with 2 SP lines inside. In this case, I have 2 separate objects. Okay, both are fine, both are correct. Next, you will add the vertical support lines to the coffee table base to be similar to the image below, using the vertices created after adding the radius whenever possible. Make necessary adjustments to ensure that it's a neat and single editable SP line. So you have these vertices or these corners that you've created after the fillet, and you need to connect them together. So let's go to the line. So if you're working with this object here, you will open vertex and you will find these vertices here, and you can start creating lines. So I'll click here on create line. Make sure that my snap is on. In this case, I'll open 3 because we're working in 3 views or 3 dimensions. Okay, and make sure that you close the grid points, because now we're not working on the grid, we're working with vertices. So I'll select vertex. Okay, so you'll see now that I can click here on the vertex and then click here, and then right click to close the line. Okay, so as you can see, I have this line. So I will continue with create line, click, click, and then yes here to weld the vertices together, and then again click, click, and right click to close the command. Click, and then right click. Okay, and I will continue doing this the same way. So make sure that you follow the lines in your PDF. They are for all the vertices that you have, except for this one, no need for it. So this is in case you are working with one object. If you're working with this part or you have two objects here, you can either merge them together. So you can select one of them and then attach the other, and you will have the same thing here, and then you can continue the same way. Otherwise, you can just create new lines and make sure that you have your snap on and start working. Okay, so again, when you're working with your snap, make sure that you change it from grid lines to vertices, and you will continue the same way. Okay, now to save time, I will not continue with the whole thing here, but you understood the idea. You will have separate lines that you can select. Okay, I will close my snap. Always make sure whenever you're done, close the snap. Otherwise, you will sometimes have some issues continuing working on the project. So then use sweep with bar built-in section with the following parameters. First, I will add sweep with bar built, and then I will go to the parameters. Okay, so here it is one object. So you can select this object, go to modify. From the modifier list, you can add sweep. And then from here, these are the built-in sections that are already ready here. You can select bar. Okay, I just click on F3 to switch the view, and you can see what I have here. In this case, you will just select all of them and then apply the sweep modifier. Okay, and it will be applied to all of them. Again, you will select bar here. Okay, so let's go back, check the parameters. You have the length 3 centimeters, width 3, and then the corner radius 0.5. So I will select this, go here to the length. I have 3, 3, and then 0.5. Okay, so now I have this object. I'll do the same for all the objects. So I'll select them all, apply sweep, change the built-in section to bar, and then change the dimensions here accordingly. Okay, so you'll have this object at the end. Then draw the top surface of the table using editable spline. The size is 100 by 160, while the radius is 15 centimeters and the thickness is 3. So let's just see the view. So you'll have this shape. You can draw it with a rectangle. It will be 100 by 160, and then the radius is 15 centimeters for the edges, and then you have a thickness of 3, which means you have to add extrude to it to create a 3D effect. So let's go back. I'll go to the top of view, select my rectangle. You can either follow the grid if you want to. Otherwise, I will just create the rectangle, and we have the length and width. So it is 100 by 160. Okay, but then I will not keep it this way. I will go to align it to this object, make sure an X and Y is center to center, and click on OK. Now you will see that it will start exactly with the grid because the dimensions are accurate, the location is accurate. Right click, convert it to editable spline, click on 1 to go to vertex, select all the vertices, go down for fillet, just type 15 and enter. Then close it, add extrude, and extrude, you will add the thickness to be 3 centimeters. If I go to the 3D, you will see that it's on the ground. So again, align to this object and Z-axis, minimum of the object to the maximum of the target. Now it will be exactly above the table. So of course you will do the same thing here. So it doesn't matter if it's one object or more than one. So I'll just delete those for now and keep this version. Okay, so that's it. We have the table now. Let's go back to the quiz. So after we're done, create the center accessory below and add it to the center of the coffee table. The height of the accessory is 40 centimeters, and to create it, you will need to draw the following cross sections. So you have all the steps. So you will use these 3. So I have 1, 2, 3. I will draw them first, and then I will create a line and use it to do this shape. Okay. So first of all, the height of the accessory is 40 centimeters. So I will go to the front view, create a line, open snap, make sure it's snap 2, right click and then remove vertex and select grid points. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't matter if it's above the table, because later on when we're done we can use a line. Okay, so I've closed the snapping option now. I have this line. Let's start drawing the 3 shapes that we have. So in cross section 1, a circle of radius 5 centimeters. Okay, so I'll go to circle, create the circle, make sure that the radius is 5. Always make sure that you don't change the parameter from here. You go to modify, just in case you right click or anything, it will not be changed, because it will be used for the next object that you draw. So always go to modify, change this to 5 centimeters. So this is the first one. And then for the second one, I have a star of 7 point, radius 1 is 20, radius 2 is 10. Okay, so let's go to star, draw the star anywhere, and then go to modify. You have 7 point, radius 1 is 20, radius 2 is 10, and then I think we have a fillet, so the fillet radius 1 is 4 and fillet radius 2 is 4 as well. So I will change this to 4 and 4. So I have the second one. For the third one, star of 7 points, so it's the same. Radius 1 is 10, radius 2 is 5, fillet for radius 1 is 2, and then 2 here. So I will just copy this one, shift and copy, shift and move, and then select copy. Here it will be, this one will be 10, this will be 5, and then I have 2 and 2 for the fillet. Okay, so now we have these 3 sections. Now you can see that first you're going to start with the circle at 0, and then you have 60% you will use the bigger star, and then for 90% you'll select the smaller one. So this means the command that we're going to use is loft. So I will select this line, go to create, and then from here I will go to compound object, select loft. Okay, create geometry compound object. After you select loft, this is the path, so you'll go to get shape and select the circle at 0. Then you will change the path parameter and then make it 60, and then get shape again, and you will select the bigger one, and then you will go to 90, get shape again, and you will select the small one. Right click to stop the command, and now I have this shape. So I will just align it to the table. For the z-axis minimum to maximum, click on apply. Now this is fixed. And then in X and Y, I will select center to center. So now it's in the center. Okay. So this line, you can move it to the side. You can keep it. That's okay. It doesn't matter. The only important thing is the 3D option that you have here. So now we're done with that. Then create the blue side accessory, add it to the coffee table, follow the steps below in order. So create a chamfer box. So let's just see the accessory. So this is the accessory that we have. Then create a chamfer box, length is 15, width is 15, height is 30, fillet is 2 centimeters. So I will go here to extended parameters, chamfer box, draw it. And then I will go to modify. So we said 15, 15, 30, and then the fillet was 2 centimeters. So I will change this to 2 centimeters. So now I have my object. Then apply the twist modifier to form the accessory and limit its effect to avoid applying the modifier to the lower 10 centimeters of the accessory height. Okay. So let's add twist modifier and then limit effect for the lower height to be 10 centimeters and then until the top. Okay, which is 30. Okay, so it will start from 10 to 30. Then let's see the rest. The twist should take place with a twist angle of 270. Feel free to make any adjustment to chamfer box to allow it to twist. So if I change here the angle to be 270, you will see that it's not working properly. This is because when you in the chamfer box, I don't have enough segments. Okay, so I'll just click on F4 on my keyboard and start increasing the segments to see how many segments I want. So let's keep it as 10. The same thing for the height. I can keep it this way. If you want to increase the fillet, that's fine. Okay, so now the twist is working. If you go to chamfer box and you see it this way, it doesn't matter. It will work when you go back to twist. Otherwise, if you want to see the full effect, you can always click here on show end result. So if you open it, even if you're modifying something below the twist, it will show you the full effect. If you close it, it will show you each step separately. Okay, and then I will keep it on the table. So create an instant copy of the accessory created and add it to the other side of the table to be similar to the screenshot below. So we don't have exact dimensions, it doesn't matter. So let's just select this, go to align, and the y-axis, I will keep it center to center. And then in the z-axis, minimum to maximum, apply. And let's say in the x-axis, I'll keep it as well center to center, and then I will move it. So right-click on move. Let's try in the x-axis 20. I need more, so I'll add extra 30. So I've moved it 50. Okay. So now Control-V to create a copy. Make sure that this copy is instance, and then in the x-axis minus 100. So I have 50 on both sides. Okay. So that's it. You'll just save your file, make sure that the name is correct, and upload it to Blackboard. I hope that everything is clear. And if you have any questions, always make sure to ask your instructor to explain it furthermore. Thank you.